friends. Okay. Hey friends, I have been trying to film this video for months. Specifically, I've been really trying to film it for the past week or so. I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to film or that I don't want to explain what's going on or anything like that. It's just that I don't want any of this to be happening or true or my life, and it's all of those things. This is not going to be a full medical update or explanation. There's no way I could possibly explain the past year alone in a short video, but in order to explain how I plan on moving forward, I have to kind of give a little bit of context. I've had a variety of health issues my entire life. There was a back injury specifically in 2016, back/head injury, that seemed to be the trigger for a lot of my more serious physical issues, chronic pain. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, myofascial pain syndrome, all sorts of things. I've been in physical therapy for 5 years. I've put a ton of work into trying to manage my health. I have a lot of dietary restrictions, so food is kind of a nightmare, but there was just a lot going on prior to anything happening in 2020. And in last year, I lost my job because of COVID, and I took that as I'm so lucky to be getting unemployment, and I have these health issues, and I was a waitress for 10 years, food service, retail, whatever, for 10 years, and it's just a really very physically demanding environment to work in. And with my health issues, I thought that working from home would be a better fit for me. So I really took advantage of the pandemic. I was really good about staying home. I used my unemployment primarily to invest in better working equipment and pay my rent and try to save what I could. And I really tried to relax. I tried to not work so hard and let myself be more relaxed and give myself a little bit more grace. And it seemed that the more I relaxed, the worse my health issues got. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe if I just be perfect with the physical therapy, with the diet, with the sleep, with the mental health management, everything, maybe if I just work really, really, really hard at fixing my health, then it'll work. Spoiler, that's not how it works all the time. And then in October, I got injured. I got a jaw injury. The migraines that had been ramping up all year were getting way worse. My physical therapist eventually told me, you have craniocervical instability. It's not safe for me to be working on you until you get further diagnostics. So I was sent off to get a C-spine, cervical spine, or neck MRI. Turns out I have syringomyelia, or just a pocket of spinal fluid inside my spinal cord between C4 and C5. So I was sent to a neurosurgeon, and the neurosurgeon said there was nothing really wrong with me. The syringomyelia is just not a big deal. And I went to a neurologist who, after I got an eye exam and getting glasses helped my migraines a bit. His belief was, that was it, you just needed an eye exam, you're cured. And all this time, I'm getting worse and worse and worse. My quality of life is declining. My ability to function as a person is declining. There were a lot of really scary episodes that I now am almost certain are seizures. And it all really culminated when on May 12th, I got the second COVID vaccine about 2 hours after I got a couple cortisone injections into my wrist. That never should have happened. Those medications should never have been administered within 14 days of each other, and I got them 2 hours apart, and it has permanently changed my life. I'm not gonna really talk about the specifics, but I was more sick than I had ever been. And it took a week for me to even consider getting medical care. And when I finally did, I had pericarditis. The sac around my heart was inflamed, and I had to see a cardiologist the next day. I ended up in the emergency room multiple times. I got tested for Lyme disease because my cognitive function was so messed up. If my quality of life was poor before May, I don't really even know how to describe it now. And we're in the middle of August, so May to June to July, it's been over 90 days. It's been 3 months, and I was told that all the side effects would go away after 10 to 14 days, and none of them have. So the reason I'm explaining all of this is because COVID unemployment ran out months ago. I'm still unemployed. I'm not in a position anymore where I can just go back to the job I used to do. I want to. Cash, as from when I was a waitress, was really good. I enjoyed the job. I really do genuinely enjoy like working with people and the organization of it all, but even something as simple as being a cashier or like a grocery store stocking person or a barista, not a barista, oh my god, that job killed. I did that before too, but every job I've had my entire life, I've practically thinking of how I could possibly go back to doing it now with where my health is at. And there's just not enough accommodations in the world to make those jobs work with where I'm at now. So I'm in a position where working from home is kind of my only option because there is no employer that can reasonably accommodate every aspect of my disability. It would have to be me. But the other issue in relation to all of this is my eyes and the muscles that move them. I've had a lot of eye issues, which is why getting glasses helped for a little while and why the neurologist thought that that was just the core root of the problem. I found out maybe a month, maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago that I have, God no, it must have been less than a month ago, that I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder, which explains why no matter how much PT I do and how strong I get, my bones just do what they want, and my joints are kind of a suggestion more so than like a place where my bones really congregate where they're supposed to. And the muscles around my eyes, they don't work right. So it's not an issue of like a mental focus kind of a thing, and it's why I keep looking away from the camera and looking all over the room, even though I'm trying so hard to look at the camera, is that my eyes don't like physically focus and work together the way that they're supposed to, which makes looking at screens excruciating. So all of my attempts at video editing and photo editing and really retaining and comprehending the class information that I have to look at visually, it's just not working. The muscles, and specifically the joints on the right side of my body, aren't working right. Which means that my right hand, my dominant hand, the one I use for writing and drawing and painting and art and wiping my ass and everything else that you use your dominant hand for, is excruciating. And so there's just so much stacked on top of each other. I can't sit in one position for more than about 45 minutes at most, and even then that's kind of moving around a lot, and also brain fog, where I forget where I am in conversations and forget what I was talking about and get really frustrated. And this is around the point where I stop filming and I delete the video because I get really flustered and really upset that my brain is fucking broken. When you have a lot of physical health disabilities and trauma and everything else, you just rely so heavily on the intellectual part of your brain to get you through, because if your body fails you and if your psyche fails you, at least the smart part of your brain can save you. But that's been the worst aspect of this vaccine cortisone nightmare, is that it's affected me cognitively so much. And I can't remember where I started this video or even how long I've been talking. I think I've explained enough of the details, but I'm sure I'm gonna watch this back and realize that I'm rambling and not making sense and jumping all over the place and my thoughts are disorganized, and it is just another expectation that I have to change, which is why I'm making this video, is to explain that things are different now. They're just different, and I can't fix them, and I can't go back, and maybe someday they'll get better, but I can't keep holding on to that. There is no super effective treatment plan for EDS. It wasn't even globally recognized until less than 5 years ago, and they're still even trying. They know it's a genetic condition, but researchers don't even know all the different genes associated with it. It's still very much so, they're still just trying to figure out what it is, not so much how to treat it. And the treatments that they do have are all patient management stuff. It's all diet and lifestyle and sleep and everything else. And the reality is, you can be perfect. You can manage everything perfectly. You can have a schedule, you can have a routine, you can get the right amount of sleep, eat the right amount of food, drink all the water you can possibly get, do your physical therapy, go to all your doctor's appointments, live in a bubble where you never let yourself get injured. You can do everything right. And sitting down for 15 minutes can injure me. Sleeping on my side can injure me. It's just, it is exhausting. And I'm just changing the expectations I have of myself. So I wanted to make a longer video that was more concise, explained the expectation stuff, explained how I'm moving forward, explained everything, but the perfect, polished, professional, well put together form of this isn't real. It's not something I can physically or realistically in any way do. And by telling myself that I'm just gonna wait for another day until I feel better to make that content, it's never gonna happen. And I just have to accept that. So this is the bummer video. This is the video where I explain why things are changing and what my reality is. And hopefully the next video is just going to be me really excited to fully announce my starter sticker launch. I'm finally launching my online shop. Again, with a lot of expectation changes, considering I technically opened it a year ago and have not used it once. I hope that I'll be just super jazzed and pumped to talk about my Patreon, and that I don't even want to talk about those details in this video because I don't want them being associated with this, just like not feeling sorry for myself, but feeling sorry for myself. Pity party that I'm throwing right now. I keep trying to remind myself that I'm lucky to be alive, that I'm lucky to have a roof over my head, and that I'm lucky to have food in my fridge and people that care. But the reality is, your quality of life can only get so low before you're just not grateful to be alive anymore. And that feels really awful to say. And certainly not something I want to admit publicly, but I think a lot of people see me at the grocery store, online, or whatever, and they're like, oh, up, walking around, looks to be probably late 20s, just looks like a normal person, probably healthy, you know. And it's just very disheartening to look exactly the same as I did a year ago, 2 years ago, but what's happening underneath my skin and what's happening in my body is not at all the same as it was a year ago or 2 years ago. So I can't change it, I can't undo it, I can't fix it. I can't go back and tell the pharmacist, hey, this is a really dangerous drug interaction and you are about to literally poison me. Don't do it. Because if she had known, she wouldn't have. She didn't know. Because turns out pharmacies don't have the same database that doctors' offices do for drug interactions. You would think they would, but they don't. And I can't go back and undo a genetic condition that no one even really knew existed when I was born anyway. And I can't undo the injuries I've had. I can't undo the childhood trauma. I can't undo or fix any of it. And I can't keep pretending that it's not killing me. Or that I am not struggling tremendously to do all of this alone. I don't really have a support system. I have people that are friendly and compassionate and really care, but I don't have an actual support system. I don't really have a family. I'm doing this all on my own. And if I'm going to have any chance of succeeding, not even in a career sense, but just in like a survival kind of a sense, then I have to just be honest about where I'm at. I have to admit all the things that I don't want to be real or true or my life, but they are. It's not a death sentence. It's not, it's not like I have stage 4 cancer or a crazy brain tumor or anything like that. It's not dire in an acute sense. It's just a life sentence. So, I'm trying really hard not to gaslight myself or get flustered or just full of self-hate, but I tried to film this video about 5 or 6 times yesterday and ended up having a complete meltdown because I just kept getting lost. So my videos are going to have minimal editing. I want people to understand the reality of what it's like to live like this. I'm going to be uploading, nope, I'm not going to talk about the shop launch. That will be another video. This is the reality. It's just brain fog and rambling and being frustrated. So hopefully future videos will be brighter and more entertaining, but kind of got to explain why they are the way they are, because I don't want to have to explain it again. So thank you to whoever is still here watching this. I apologize for how rambly it is, but I can't make it any less rambly. I really tried. So stay tuned for whatever comes up after this, where I actually explain how I'm going to move forward in my career. And hopefully I can have more interesting stuff to talk about than just how I really don't feel good. So thank you so much, friends. I really appreciate you, and just do the best you can. Not going to tell you to have a good day or whatever. Just do the best you can. And give yourself grace when the best you can isn't nearly what you want it to be. Still doing the best you can. So, thanks, friends.